Time for language. Lesson 158. Page 281. Welcome to language class. It is short today, so that is super cool. Let's review. Let's jump in. Let's review the 4 kinds of verbs we talked about. So helping verbs, say with me. Have, has, had. Do, did, does. Shall, will, should, would. May, might, must. Can, could. Yes, I'm thinking that's all of them. I've got them. Now we have action verbs. So an action verb, I don't know if you can see this. An action verb shows, if I don't have butterfingers, action verb, a word that shows action and the subject performs the action, right? We have linking verb. No, first, let's go over the stated being verbs. Stated being verbs are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Okay, now we have linking verbs. We talked about this on, yesterday. Stated linking verb, a word that links the subject with a complement. Today we're going to be talking about the 2 complements. Let's go over the sometimes linking verbs. So these are the verbs that can sometimes be linking, sometimes can be action. Let's do the motions. Taste, feel, smell, sound, look, appear, become, I need to come faster. Become, seem, grow, remain, and stay. Goodness me, I need to practice more. That was a little slow. Think of these as, they also can be different forms, like feel could be felt, grow could be grew, become can be became. So this is talking about these verb forms and all their other verb forms. Okay, so be watching of that. Whenever you see one of these verb forms, say ding, 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 ding. Is it action verb or is it linking verb? Because it can be either. On page 281, we're talking about a predicate nominative. This is the first complement that we're talking about with our linking verb. A noun or a pronoun that follows a linking verb. It can never follow an action verb. Never, never, never. Okay? And renames, oh look, I have it spelled wrong, I have it wrong. Linking verb and renames and the subject. Oh, whatever. It's supposed to and renames the subject, okay? Let's talk about this. Your pencil should be down. Miss Rose was my teacher. Was is our linking verb. Miss Rose is our subject. Teacher is our predicate nominative, PN, because it renames Miss Rose. You can switch it around and see if that makes sense. My teacher was Miss Rose. Miss Rose was my teacher. It renames it. This one, your cousin is Abigail. So I was thinking of you at least. So is your linking verb. Cousin is your subject. Abigail is your predicate nominative. Because Abigail is your cousin is Abigail. It is a noun that renames your subject. Mr. Donald Trump is our president. So is our linking verb. Mr. Donald Trump is our subject. And president is our predicate nominative because it renames it. Let's practice this. Go to think A. Think A. Label the linking verb LV, subject S, and the predicate nominative PN. Notice on all of these that your predicate nominative always comes after a linking verb unless it's a question. Because if it's a question, like, are you my teacher? Are is your linking verb, and that comes first. So in a question, it'd be a little bit different. Think A. Ralph Waldo Emerson was a poet. First of all, find your linking verb. What's your linking verb? Linking verb is was. You actually don't need to underline it. You can just mark LV. What's your subject? Who was? Ask who was. You can can either put S's over his whole name or you can do something like that. Ralph Waldo Emerson was a poet. Okay, so predicate nominative is a poet. Poet was Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson was a poet. It is a pronoun that follows a linking verb and renames the subject. Okay, number 2. Michael Jones is our secretary. Find your linking verb. Remember, it can be a state of being verb like am, as, are, was, were, being, been. So, linking verb. Michael Jones is our subject. Michael Jones is who? Secretary. So, our predicate nominative is secretary. It renames Michael Jones and follows a linking verb. Do 3 and 4 by yourself. You can pause the video. Now let's jump to think B. Label each linking verb and action verb. Hopefully you can see me. Okay. Label each linking verb and action verb. Write predicate nominative in the blank if the italicized complement is a predicate nominative. Write direct object if it is a direct object. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. Here are your action verbs. The complement that goes with action verb must be a direct object. Must be, must be, must be, must be. Alright? If it has a complement, it must be a direct object. These two go together. Same thing like linking verb and predicate nominative go together. You cannot mix the two. If you have a linking verb, you must have a predicate nominative. If you have an action verb, you cannot have a predicate nominative, you must have a direct object. Okay? This is what we're talking about in Think B. Let me show you what I mean. Think B. This field is our playground. Playground is italicized. You need to find your verb. That's your first step. Find your verb. Either your action verb or your linking verb. Action or linking verb. Well, is our verb. Is action or linking. It's linking because it links 2 words. If it is a linking verb, would you write predicate nominative on the blank or would you write direct object on the blank? You would write predicate nominative because a predicate nominative is the complement for a linking verb. It links playground, field. It renames the subject. Let's go to number 2. The pilot flew his plane over the hilltop. Okay? Find that plane is italicized. That's the complement. What's your verb? Your verb is flew. Is it action or linking? It's action because you can fly. The plane can fly. The plane was doing the action. Well, no, the pilot, sorry. The pilot flew his plane. Okay? So, action verb, would you write, is plane a direct object or a predicate nominative? It would be a direct object because if you have an action verb, your complement must be a direct object. Okay? Do the last 2 by yourself. Identify the verbs, then write whether the italicized word is a predicate nominative or a direct object. You can pause the video, turn the page. Okay, now we're still talking about linking verbs. The first complement we learned was a predicate nominative. It renames a subject. The second complement we're learning is a predicate adjective. Okay, now a predicate adjective, let's go over the questions that an adjective answers. What kind, which one, how many, which one, oh I think I said which one already, whose. Those are all questions for adjectives. So your pencil should be down, let's look at this example. The sunflowers grew tall. Your brain should be saying, oh, this is the sometimes linking verb, sometimes action verb, which one is it? Well, the trick that I normally use is I replace this with a state of being verbs. A state of being verb. The sunflowers are tall. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. So this is a linking verb. This is your subject, sunflowers grew tall. Now, the complement for this one would not be predicate nominative. It would be a predicate adjective. Why? Because put the word tall in front of sunflowers. Tall sunflowers. What kind of sunflowers are they? They're tall sunflowers. It's an adjective because it's describing sunflowers. Look right here. I became scared when the storm hit. We've had some big storms lately. So became is our sometimes linking verb. So I'm going to replace it with a state of being verb to see if it makes sense. I am scared when the storm hit. I was scared when the storm hit. So that makes sense. This is a linking verb. This is your subject. What kind of person was I? Ask your quiet, we probably can't see it. What kind of person was I? I was scared. I was a scared person. So this scared would be the complement, the predicate adjective that describes the subject. Okay? Let's go to Think A. This is our last section of the day. Think A. Label the linking verb, the subject, and the predicate adjective. That's all you have to do. We're going to do the first two together. Our teacher has been sick. Always find your verb first. In this case, it's a verb phrase, linking verb. Has been. Remember, this is your linking verb and this is a helping verb. Don't forget to look for your helping verbs. Actually, it doesn't say to underline it. It says to label. So, my bad, y'all. Linking verb. Your subject is teacher. Teacher has been sick teacher. What kind of teacher? A sick teacher. So our complement is predicate adjective. Your linking verb is linking teacher to sick. Sick to teacher. It's like a link fence, okay? Number 2, this pencil is dull, okay? Find your verb. Why am I labeling it? Why am I underlining it? Linking verb is. Pencil is subject. Dull is a predicate adjective describing pencil. What kind of pencil is it? It's a dull pencil. Okay? It's not a predicate nominative. It's not a noun. It's an adjective because it jumps back and it describes pencil. Okay? Finish the section, Think A, and do not do Think B. Think B is for tomorrow. So you are good to go. It's pretty short. Great job, y'all.